Put an end to scrolling. I'm going to tell you a potentially painful truth. It's not bad luck if you keep quitting, feel stuck, or continue to hit the same glass ceiling in your relationships, career, or fitness. The economy isn't the problem. You're not even lazy. You're feeding an invisible, silent killer every day that is destroying your potential. Look, I've read and summarized books for 20 years, and in that time, I've seen exactly 2 books that have completely changed the way I work. The second is You Become What You Think. I was a world-class worrier once. I would practically pre-fail myself because I would visualize failure so vividly. I learned more from this book than just to be positive. It provided me with a brutal, useful system that made it clear to me how my mind was ruining my whole life. It revealed to me that I had unintentionally caused every situation I was angry about. 1. The mental soil test. How to immediately identify your toxic, recurring thought patterns. 2. The 3-second rule. The practical technique to instantly stop a negative thought loop. 3. The purpose projector. Turning a vague goal into an inevitable, materialized reality. 4. Why your health follows your head. The hidden physical cost of worry and how to reverse it. 5. The ultimate sacrifice. The single thought you must kill to achieve life mastery. This isn't inspiration. This is a mental operation that modifies your future's blueprint. Now, let's get started. 1. The mental soil test. Identify your toxic, recurring thought patterns. We begin with brutal honesty on PX Summary Central. The first thing this book makes you do is accept the law of cause and effect and quit placing the blame elsewhere. The book employs a potent metaphor. Your mind is fertile soil, not a calculator. It doesn't care if you plant poison ivy or corn. It just takes the seed, your idea, and grows it into a harvest, your situation. Your relationships and financial situation will suffer if you cultivate feelings of inadequacy. Your external reality will have no choice but to align if you cultivate thoughts of competence and confidence. So, how is the mental soil test carried out? It's surprisingly easy and initially doesn't require any introspection. You look at your life at the moment. Examine the places where you are having trouble. The job you hate, the project you keep starting and dropping, the relationship pattern that repeats every time. The weeds are those annoying, persistent situations. They are the fully grown fruit of a thought seed you sowed weeks, months, or even years ago. As soon as I took this test, I became aware that I was continuously sowing the seed of "this is too complicated." And you know what? Every task became challenging. I was undermining my own productivity. The test's conclusion is that your life right now is just the external expression of your most prevalent, ingrained beliefs. Your thoughts define who you are. Forget about it. Now, identifying the weed is just half the fight. You can immediately stop the self-sabotage if you catch a toxic thought in the act of planting it before it takes root. But how can a 10-year negative thought pattern be broken? How can the thought cycle be halted? This leads us to the book's most useful method. 2. The 3-second rule. The practical technique to instantly stop a negative thought loop. We just proved that your present situation is the developed result of your earlier ideas. Let's now discuss prevention. The 3-second rule is your self-defense tool, and you are the watchful gatekeeper of your mind. The majority of people allow a negative thought, such as "I can't do this" or "I'm going to fail," to linger for several minutes, giving it emotional support until it turns into a belief. You have to stop that poisonous seed within 3 seconds of it appearing, according to the 3-second rule. It operates as follows. You have 3 seconds to stop and replace any thought that arises that is not consistent with your dominant purpose or desired outcome. Step 1. The recognition. 1 second. You hear the thought, "This presentation is going to be a disaster." Step 2. The interruption. 1 second. You say, out loud or internally, a sharp, decisive word like "stop," "cancel," or "false." It's a mental door slam. Step 3. The replacement. 1 second. You immediately pivot to a positive, constructive thought. The book insists it must be related to your goal. So instead of "I'm going to fail," you replace it with "I am prepared, I deliver value, and I speak confidently." When I started PX Summary Central, I consistently followed this rule. Each time imposter syndrome appeared, I mentally yelled "cancel" and substituted "I provide excellent value." You can literally rewire your neural pathways by consistently applying this rule. But it's not enough to stop thinking negatively. You must make sure that you are consistently sowing the correct seeds. You must have a purpose that is so compelling that it becomes magnetic. So how do you transform a general aspiration from more success into a tangible, magnetic, inescapable force that draws success to you? That's our next destination. 3. The purpose projector. Turning a vague goal into an inevitable, materialized reality. You've cleared the mental soil if you've applied the 3-second rule successfully. successfully. Fantastic. However, a field that is empty cannot yield a harvest. A fixed aim is the largest and most valuable seed that you need to plant. A person without a clear central purpose is like water without a container, scattered, confused, and weak, the author emphasizes. If you want to be a musician on Monday, an entrepreneur on Tuesday, and just take naps on Wednesday, you will never be great. Establishing a fixed goal and using your mental energy to project it as though it already exists rather than wishing for it is known as the purpose projector. This is mental engineering, not just visualization. This is the main distinction. I want to be rich is an example of a vague, unachievable goal. I will launch my $50,000 annual consulting business by December 31st is a fixed goal that gives your mind a clear blueprint. That fixed, projected point is then automatically approached by every thought, choice, and action. Upon initially reading this, my personal objective for PX Summary Central was to simply grow. Uncertain. The content ideas, upload schedule, and consistency were all set in stone as soon as I fixed it to a particular subscriber count and engagement metric. The reality began to be created by the projection. Recall that the power is found in the steadfastness of the thought rather than the desire. Now, this steady projection has a serious adversary. It's a foe that not only prevents you from succeeding, but also physically deteriorates your body and drains your energy. It is the subtle connection between your internal conflict and your external well-being. 4. Why your health follows your head, the hidden physical cost of worry and how to reverse it. This chapter is among the most sobering in the book because it establishes an indisputable link between your mental and physical environments. The fundamental realization is that your body serves your mind. Your body must legally produce those toxins if you continuously send signals of worry, anxiety, fear, and resentment, what the author refers to as impure thought to your body. Tension, persistent exhaustion, weakened immunity, and ultimately disease are the results. The physical manifestation is merely the outcome of a chaotic, uncontrollable mental environment. Consider it like a stream. The physical body, which is the stream's reflection, becomes contaminated if the mental stream is continuously contaminated by resentful, jealous, or chaotic thoughts. The reversal, cultivating serenity. Although they are beneficial, the book does not recommend complex diets or intense exercise regimens as the main treatment. Complete mental calm is the main remedy. The body naturally reacts with health and vitality when the mind finds peace, tranquility, and goodwill. I noticed this when I was burning out trying to manage everything for the channel. My persistent thought was, if I stop, everything will collapse. This belief caused headaches and chronic shoulder pain. The moment I intentionally surrendered that worried thought, replacing it with I trust the process and delegate mental energy efficiently, the physical symptoms began to subside. The lesson is clear. If you want true lasting health, you have to start by tending the health of your dominant thoughts. Now, we come to the most difficult and most rewarding step. To really master your mind and unleash your projected purpose, you have to remove the biggest blocker of all, the one thought that everyone clings to and that takes the ultimate act of mental courage. 5. The ultimate sacrifice, the single thought you must kill to achieve life mastery. This final, critical insight is what marks the difference between one who merely reads the book and one who embodies the philosophy of the book. The ultimate sacrifice one must make to attain mastery of one's mind is the sacrifice of the small self, or the idea of the ego. The small self is the voice of constant fear, comparison, and complaint. It's the part of your mind that says, you don't deserve this. What will other people think? Or, I need to cling to this comfortable misery. This ego is nothing more than a collection of unexamined, fearful, and negative thoughts you've identified with over time. When you try to project your grand purpose, the little self screams, wait, that's too much work. You might fail and look foolish. This internal struggle is what causes most people to quit. They're happy changing their job, diet, or city, but they're not happy killing the part of their mind that needs the failure for comfort. Sacrifice defined. The final sacrifice is to let go of the emotional investment in your own victimhood, of the security of limited beliefs. It is to accept the harsh truth that you are responsible for everything that is occurring in your life, that you therefore have the power to change it all. This is referred to as the path of self-purification by the book. Mastery is the ability to look at your greatest failure with the attitude of, I created this, and now I will uncreate it. When ego is gone, then your source of power is no longer self-preservation, but self-creation. This is something that I personally sacrificed released by finally realizing that my fear of judgment held back PX Summary Central. Once I no longer cared about the disapproval opinions and became fixated solely on adding value, my fixed purpose, progress happened quickly. This realization brings us full circle. You started the video with glass ceilings and invisible killers. Now you have the 5 tools to become the master of your mind. You learned how to test your mental soil, kill negative thoughts in 3 seconds, project your purpose, and sacrifice the ego. But now the real work begins. We need to go over how these 5 topics come together to create an ironclad system for daily execution. How do you stop falling back into old habits when life gets hard? Stay tuned for the actionable next steps as I will detail the exact 7-day implementation plan and share just one quote from this book that really made a change in my life. You've got the theory, you know the 5 pillars of this philosophy, but how do you stop yourself from reading this book summary, feeling great for a day, and then falling straight back into the mental quicksand? What you need is a system. I have prepared this 7-day implementation plan direct from the book's principles. This is your bridge from reader to master. Day 1, the inventory. Do the mental soil test. Topic 1, don't correct anything. Just write down your 3 most painful recurring circumstances and the negative thought which created them. Example, pain equals chronic debt. Thought equals I'm bad with money. Day 2 to 3, block and replace. Commit to 48 hours of strict use of the 3-second rule. S2, each time that toxic thought from day 1 enters your mind, you must block it with cancel and replace it with its opposite thought of value. I am a competent financial steward. The 4th and 5th days of the projector are where you need to improve your aim at projecting an image onto a screen. You know your purpose in life and your purpose projector. Once you write out a specific and measurable goal that identifies what reality you're going to create, you should spend at least 10 minutes before going to sleep and the first thing in the morning visualizing that goal. The health check on day 6. Keep an eye on how your physical and mental states are related. Topic 4. Ask yourself, what fearful thought am I entertaining right now? As soon as you experience tension, anxiety, or pain, the sacrifice on day 7. This week, decide which comfort zone, the ego's favorite lie, you must give up and demolish. This could be the solace of self-pity, the solace of blaming others, or the solace of putting things off. Your mind will have a new, functional set of habits by the end of 7 days if you follow this sequence. I've promised you the one quote from this book that, once I grasped it, completely transformed my life. It perfectly captures the brutal self-honesty necessary for mastery. It's just this: a man is revealed to himself by his circumstances. They do not create him. Consider that. The situation does not cause you to fail. The situation is just a mirror reflecting the nature of your own thoughts. You stop fighting the outside world and begin improving the quality of your inner life, which is the only thing you can really control. When you acknowledge that the difficulty is merely a reflection, now that you have your 5 concepts and 7-day plan at your disposal, you are ready to integrate this philosophy into your life. Just remember that it takes only one conscious thought to start the process of becoming the master of your own life. Right now, committing to this system is the most crucial thing you can do. Let's go over the whole strategy and decide exactly how you're going to proceed. You become what you think. Master Your Mind, Master Your Life is a powerful book that offers a comprehensive learning system. The PX Summary. Central Recap. 1. Mental Soil Test. Look at your circumstances. They reveal your dominant thought. 2. 3-second rule. Instantly cancel a negative thought and replace it with a constructive one. 3. Purpose Projector. Fix your aim and hold that goal steadily in your mind until it materializes. 4. Health Follows Head. Cultivate serenity to nurture physical vitality. 5. The Ultimate Sacrifice. Kill the small, fearful ego and accept absolute responsibility. You become what you think, which is the foundation of every piece of success advice you will ever hear, from fitness to finance. Fixing your internal blueprint is the only way to alter your external environment. Please click the like button if this video gave you that epiphany so that we can share this philosophy with more stuck people. In order to avoid missing our in-depth exploration of the Law of Attraction's practical application, click subscribe and the notification bell if you're prepared to witness the next level of mental strategy. Tell me in the comments what toxic thought you plan to cancel today using the 3-second rule. We appreciate you viewing PX Summary Central. Take control of your life by mastering your mind. I'll see you in the upcoming synopsis.